Today, we're stepping into the world of a man who's laughed his way from homelessness to Hollywood royalty, Steve Harvey. From a struggling comedian sleeping in his car to a global entertainment mogul, Steve Harvey has inspired millions with his grit, humor, and unrelenting drive. With an estimated net worth of $200 million in 2025 and a trophy case overflowing with 7 Daytime Emmy Awards, 2 Marconi Awards, and 14 NAACP Image Awards, Steve isn't just a household name. He's a living legend in comedy, television, and beyond. But here's the question that's burning in all our minds. How did Steve Harvey transform a life of hardship into a lavish empire of mansions, luxury cars, and blockbuster business ventures? Stick around as we take you on an exclusive tour of his jaw-dropping lifestyle in 2025. You won't believe what's behind the curtain of this king of entertainment. Let's rewind the clock to January 17, 1957, when Broderick Stephen Harvey was born in Welch, West Virginia, a small coal mining town where dreams often fell out of reach. Steve grew up as the youngest of 5 children in a working-class family, where money was tight and opportunities were scarce. His father, Jesse Harvey, was a coal miner, a man who worked grueling hours underground to put food on the table. His mother, Eloise Vera, was the heart of the home, instilling faith and resilience in her kids despite the odds stacked against them. Life in Welch wasn't glamorous. It was tough, raw, and unforgiving. The Harvey family later moved to Cleveland, Ohio, hoping for a fresh start, but the struggles followed them like a shadow. Steve's childhood wasn't just about financial hardship. It was also a battle with his own voice. As a young boy, he suffered from a severe stutter that made even simple conversations a challenge. Kids at school mocked him, and teachers sometimes overlooked him, but Steve refused to let his speech define him. His mother once told him, "God gave you that stutter for a reason. It's to make you fight harder for what you want." Those words stuck with him, planting the seeds of determination that would bloom years later. High school at Glenville in Cleveland offered little relief. Steve graduated in 1974, but college wasn't smooth sailing either. He enrolled at Kent State University and later West Virginia University, bouncing between majors with no clear direction. Eventually, he dropped out, drifting through a string of odd jobs: boxer, auto worker, insurance salesman, carpet cleaner, even a mailman. But the real test came in the late 1980s when Steve decided to chase his dream of comedy. With no steady income and gigs that barely paid, he found himself homeless for 3 years. Picture this: a young Steve Harvey, sleeping in his beat-up 1976 Ford, showering at gas stations or public pools, wondering if he'd ever make it. One night, after a gig fell through, he sat in his car and cried, asking himself, "Is this all there is?" That moment of despair, though, lit a fire in him, a fire that would eventually burn brighter than anyone could have imagined. Steve's big break came on October 8, 1985, when he stepped onto the stage at Hilarity's Comedy Club in Cleveland, Ohio, for his first stand-up performance. His humor, relatable, sharp, and full of heart, caught the crowd's attention, and soon he was grinding it out on the comedy circuit. But the road to fame was a marathon, not a sprint. For years, he drove across the country, performing in smoky clubs, sleeping in his car when gigs didn't cover a hotel. It was a hustle fueled by desperation and dreams. In 1990, everything changed. Steve became a finalist in the 2nd annual Johnny Walker National Comedy Search, a competition that landed him a hosting gig on its showtime at the Apollo. Suddenly, he wasn't just a comedian, he was a face people recognized. The Apollo stage became his launchpad, and by 1996, he was starring in his own sitcom, The Steve Harvey Show, on the WB. The show ran for 6 seasons, 122 episodes of pure comedic gold, blending Steve's charm with life lessons about family and perseverance. Critics loved it, audiences adored it, and Steve's star was officially on the rise. The late 90s brought another milestone: the Kings of Comedy Tour with Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hughley, and Bernie Mac. This wasn't just a comedy show, it was a cultural phenomenon. The tour raked in millions, and the 2000 film The Original Kings of Comedy, directed by Spike Lee, cemented Steve's place in comedy history. His larger-than-life personality and impeccable timing made him a standout, and Hollywood took notice. But Steve wasn't content to stay in one lane. In 2000, he launched the Steve Harvey Morning Show, a syndicated radio program that's still going strong in 2025, beaming his voice into millions of homes daily. Then came the game changer. In 2010, he took over as host of Family Feud. Steve didn't just host, he transformed the show. His hilarious reactions to contestants' wild answers turned Family Feud into a viral sensation, boosting ratings through the roof. By 2025, he's also hosting Celebrity Family Feud and Family Feud Africa, raking in a cool $10 million a year from the franchise alone. His TV empire didn't stop there. Steve co-created Little Big Shots with Ellen DeGeneres in 2016, showcasing kid prodigies with his signature warmth, and hosted it until 2019. In 2022, he debuted Judge Steve Harvey, an ABC comedy court show that blends humor with mock justice. Add in hosting the Miss Universe pageant, despite that infamous 2015 flub where he crowned the wrong winner, and Steve's resume reads like a masterclass in versatility. Awards? Oh, he's got plenty. 7 Daytime Emmys, 2 Marconi Awards for Radio Excellence, and 14 NAACP Image Awards line his shelves. His 2009 book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, spent 64 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list and inspired a hit 2012 film, adding millions to his earnings. By 2017, he'd unified his ventures under Steve Harvey Global, SHG, a powerhouse that includes his production company East 112, the Sand and Soul Festival, and more. From a broke comedian to a media titan, Steve's journey is a testament to hustle and heart. Now, let's get to the good stuff. Steve Harvey's 2025 lifestyle. At 68 years old, he's living like a king, and his $200 million net worth affords him a level of luxury most can only dream of. Buckle up, because this house tour and car collection are about to blow your mind. The Atlanta Mega Mansion, a palace fit for a king. If there's one property that screams Steve Harvey in 2025, it's his massive Atlanta mansion in the upscale Buckhead neighborhood. This isn't just a house, it's a full-on estate, a sprawling 34,688 square foot masterpiece that Steve scooped up back in May 2020 for $15 million. And let me tell you, every penny of that price tag shows. Sitting on 17 acres of prime land overlooking the Chattahoochee River, this place is the definition of opulence. The story of how Steve got this house is almost as wild as the property itself. Originally built by filmmaker and entertainment mogul Tyler Perry, this mansion has a history of big names and big money. Tyler bought the land in 2005 for $9 million and spent millions more turning it into a Versailles-inspired palace. We're talking grand staircases, infinity pools, and enough amenities to make a 5-star resort jealous. Tyler lived there for years before selling it in 2016 for a record-breaking $17.5 million, the highest-priced home sale in Atlanta history at the time, to televangelist David Turner. Turner tried to flip it for $25 million a couple of years later, but ended up taking a loss when Steve swooped in at $15 million. Talk about a deal. So what's it like inside? Picture this. You walk through one of the 2 gated entrances, past a dramatic fountain in the motor court, and step into a 2-story foyer with a double staircase that looks like something out of a movie. The main house has 7 bedrooms and 14 bathrooms. Yes, 14. There's a gourmet kitchen with dual marble islands, perfect for whipping up a feast, and a 2-story family room with a rear staircase that adds to the grandeur. The living spaces are bathed in natural light thanks to sky-high windows, and the formal dining room could host a banquet for royalty. But it's the extras that really set this place apart. There's an underground ballroom with a catering kitchen, because why not throw a party 100 feet below ground? A home theater for movie nights, a gym to keep Steve in top shape, and a spa area that's all about relaxation. The wine cellar? It's got a built-in bar and room for hundreds of bottles. And let's not forget the security, state-of-the-art systems, and a whole house generator mean this place is locked down and ready for anything. Outside, it's just as insane. The 17 acres are meticulously landscaped with formal gardens, rolling lawns, and topiary shrubs that look like they've been trimmed by an artist. The centerpiece? A 70,000-gallon infinity-edge swimming pool with a bar and a jacuzzi, big enough to swim laps or just float with a cocktail in hand. There's a Versailles-style painting at the bottom of the pool, giving it that extra European flair. Oh, and if you're into sports, you've got a lighted tennis court perched on top of a 2-story parking garage, plus a runway for remote control planes. Because, you know, why not? Steve lives here with his wife, Marjorie, and it's a hub for their blended family of 7 kids and a growing crew of grandkids. They've hosted Easter egg hunts, holiday gatherings, and weekend get-togethers that fill this massive space with life. In 2025, this Atlanta estate is Steve's primary residence, and it's easy to see why. It's not just a home. It's a legacy, a testament to how far he's come from those days of sleeping in his car. The Beverly Hills rental, Hollywood living, Steve's style. Now, Steve's Atlanta mansion might be his main digs, but he's still got a foot in the Hollywood game. In 2025, he and Marjorie are renting a stunning mansion in the exclusive Beverly Park neighborhood of Beverly Hills, California. This isn't a purchase, it's a lease, but the price tag is wild, $110,000 a month. That's $1.3 million a year just to live there. They've been renting this place since 2018, popping in whenever Steve's hosting gigs or production work bring him to LA. This 12,000 square foot traditional style mansion is a far cry from the Atlanta estate's modern grandeur. It's got a more serene, classic vibe. With 5 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms spread across the main house, it's still plenty big for Steve, Marjorie, and any family or friends who drop by. The chef's kitchen has a surprising pop of blue on the walls, breaking up the standard white, and there's a screening room for watching Steve's own shows or the latest blockbusters. The library adds a touch of sophistication, perfect for a guy who's written bestsellers like Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. The backyard is where this place really shines. There's a 1,000 square foot guest house with its own full kitchen, sprawling patios, and lush lawns that make it feel like a private park. The landscaping is next level, with twisted trees, flowering plants, and paths that wind through the greenery. It's the kind of spot where you can imagine Steve unwinding after a long day on set, maybe sipping something cold by the pool house, or just soaking in the California sun. Why rent instead of buy? Well, Steve's a savvy guy. With his main base in Atlanta, this Beverly Hills spot is more of a convenience, a luxurious home away from home, for when he's working on projects like Judge Steve Harvey or Celebrity Family Feud. Plus, at $110,000 a month, he's got the flexibility to move on if his schedule changes. In 2025, this rental keeps him connected to the Hollywood scene without tying him down. The Chicago penthouse, a sky-high past. Let's rewind a bit and talk about a property Steve used to own, one that's still a big part of his real estate story. Back in 2013, he bought a 5,500 square foot penthouse on the 88th floor of the Trump International Hotel and Tower in Chicago, Illinois. This was during the heyday of the Steve Harvey Show, his daytime talk show that filmed in the Windy City. He paid a cool $1.25 million for it, and it was his home base while he was churning out episodes. This penthouse was all about luxury with a view. Floor-to-ceiling windows gave Steve a front row seat to Chicago's skyline, with Lake Michigan shimmering in the distance. It had 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, and all the high-end finishes you'd expect. Marble floors, sleek modern design, and a kitchen that could have doubled as a set for a cooking show. There was even a massive grill on the terrace, a waterfall feature, and a cigar cabinet that any aficionado would drool over. Steve lived there until 2018, when the talk show moved production to Los Angeles. That's when he decided to part ways with the penthouse, selling it for $7.7 million, a hefty profit over what he paid. That flip shows Steve's real estate smarts. He's not just buying homes to live in. He's investing, upgrading, and cashing out when the time's right. By 2025, this Chicago chapter is long closed, but it's a key piece of how he built his property empire. The Texas estates, southern roots. Steve's real estate journey has some deep roots in Texas, too. Before the Atlanta mansion and the Beverly Hills rental, he owned a couple of standout properties in the Lone Star State. First up was a 6,500 square foot estate in Little Elm, about 25 miles north of Dallas. This 5-bedroom, 6.5 bath stone manor sat on 3.67 acres, with a resort-style pool, a 700-bottle wine room, and even a hidden safe. Steve and Marjorie lived there for years, raising their family in this spacious, private retreat. In 2019, they tried renting it out, first for $3,500 a month, then upping it to $4,500. But by 2020, they decided to sell. The final sale price wasn't disclosed, but it was last listed at $1.075 million. That's a modest number compared to his later purchases, but it shows how Steve's tastes and his budget evolved over time. This Little Elm house was all about family, with a dramatic dual staircase in the entryway and big living areas perfect for gatherings. Before Little Elm, Steve owned an even bigger spot in Plano, Texas, 11,657 square feet, to be exact. This 5-bedroom, 6-bath mansion sat on 3.25 acres and came with a gourmet kitchen, a game room, a 4-car garage, a pool and spa, an elevator, and a massive master suite. He bought it early in his career and sold it in 2003 for $3.5 million. That sale was a big moment. It marked Steve stepping up from a working comedian to a guy who could afford serious luxury. By 2025, Steve's Texas days are behind him, but these properties laid the groundwork for his real estate obsession. They're where he started building the wealth and the vision that would eventually lead to that Atlanta palace. The other Atlanta gem, Sandy Springs Luxury. Oh, and did I mention Steve's got another Atlanta property in his portfolio? Yep, in the Sandy Springs area, he owns a 9,258 square foot mansion he picked up in 2010 for $3.4 million. This 6-bedroom, 8-bath beauty is a little more understated than the Buckhead estate, but it's still dripping with luxury. Think waterfall features, a mini golf course, and a cigar cabinet that ties back to his Chicago penthouse days. Steve's given fans a peek inside this one through exclusive tours, showing off the light-filled living spaces, the gourmet kitchen, and the sprawling outdoor areas. It's got a vibe that's perfect for entertaining. Big patios, lush lawns, and plenty of room for his kids and grandkids to run around. In 2025, this Sandy Springs home is still part of his collection, though it's more of a secondary spot compared to the Buckhead mega mansion. It's a reminder that Steve's not just about the biggest and flashiest. He's got a knack for picking properties with character and charm. Now, let's rev up the engines and check out Steve's car collection. This man's got a garage that'd make any gearhead jealous, worth over $2 million in 2025. Leading the pack is his Rolls-Royce Phantom 8, a $450,000 beast that oozes class. With its iconic Spirit of Ecstasy hood ornament and buttery leather interior, it's the ultimate symbol of Steve's rise to the top. He's also got a Rolls-Royce Ghost, a $350,000 ride with a V12 engine that purrs like a dream, perfect for cruising Atlanta's streets in style. For something a little flashier, there's the Rolls-Royce Phantom drop-head convertible, another $500,000 stunner with a retractable roof that lets Steve soak up the sun. But it's not all Rolls-Royce. Steve's Bentley Mulsanne, priced at $310,000, adds a touch of British elegance to the mix, with hand-stitched seats and a sleek black finish. For a dose of American muscle, he's got a Ford F-150 pickup, rugged, practical, and a nod to his blue-collar roots. And then there's the crown jewel, a 1941 Cadillac convertible, a vintage beauty worth over $100,000 that Steve's restored to pristine condition. Each car tells a story of triumph, taste, and a love for the finer things. Beyond houses and cars, Steve's business ventures keep the cash flowing. Steve Harvey Global, launched in 2017, is his empire's nerve center. It oversees East 112, his production company behind shows like Judge Steve Harvey and Harvey Events, run by his daughter Morgan and son-in-law Kareem, which throws lavish bashes like the Sand and Soul Festival. In 2014, he teamed up with IAC to launch Delightful, a dating site that's netted him millions while helping folks find love. His books, like Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, and Jump, have sold millions of copies, and his speaking gigs rake in big bucks too. Add in endorsements, social media sponsorships, think $30,000 per Instagram post, and his $45 million annual salary, $10 million from Family Feud, $20 million from radio, and Steve's wealth is a well-oiled machine. Steve's personal life is as colorful as his career. He's been married 3 times, and each chapter has shaped the man we see today. His first marriage to Marcia Harvey in 1981 gave him twin daughters, Brandy and Carly, and a son, Broderick Jr. It ended in 1994 amid his rising fame. a split that wasn't without its tensions. His second marriage to Mary Shackelford, from 1996 to 2005, produced a son, Winton, but crumbled under public scrutiny and legal battles. Mary later accused Steve of infidelity, a claim he's denied, though the divorce left a bitter taste. In 2007, Steve found his soulmate in Marjorie Bridges, a fashion entrepreneur and philanthropist. Marjorie brought 3 kids from a previous relationship: Morgan, Jason, and Lori, whom Steve adopted, blending their families into a tight-knit crew of 7 children. Together, they're a power couple, often spotted at red carpet events or vacationing in style. Marjorie's influence is undeniable. She's the muse behind Steve's polished suits and the heart of their shared philanthropy. Rumors of trouble have swirled, like whispers of Steve's wandering eye, but the couples brushed them off, projecting unity and love. Wow, what a ride through Steve Harvey's incredible 2025 lifestyle. From his Atlanta mansion to his Rolls-Royce fleet, this is a man who's turned struggle into stardom. If you love this deep dive into Steve's world, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a video from the Celeb Insider. Want more celeb house tours and net worth breakdowns? Check out our playlist right here. Drop a comment. Whose lifestyle should we explore next? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.